everyone. Haven't seen Morris yet. Oh, there he is. Him and Striper actually up in the tall chair. Here I am, trying to get out the door without dropping the cat food. Hi. Hi, Morris. Good morning. Come on up, buddy. Come on up. Here you go. Here you go. Come on up. Morris, is there a reason why you won't come up? Let's not be silly. Come on. There you go. A few less ants up here too, by the way. Good morning. Well, we did get 2/10 of an inch of rain yesterday evening, so that was nice. Make the grass, mow the grass, and then let's make the grass grow. So I'm working on a set of fairy garden houses. I'm using Alpine Green, I think it's Polymaker brand filament. That's a rainbow filament in brown, tan, and green. It's pretty cool. It looks very outsidey in my yard where stuff grows on stuff. Well, it's nice to gaze out here this morning and know that I don't need to mow today. It's all nice and trim. Well, that's a surprise. Not really. FedEx delivered my bamboo order, and I didn't know they were out there, but that's my bamboo order. Okay, I'll get it on my way back in. I think it'll be fine there until I come back. Don's working this morning, just a couple hours, running some jobs to package some stuff up. They coordinate with there's the customer, there's Kyndryl, IBM, the guys that support the customer system. There's Don's company, and then there's a company in Italy, and they're all involved on this contract. And anyway, Don has to package up and FTP some stuff to Italy so they can massage it and send it back at a high level. And anyway, he needed to do that work off-peak system time, so this morning was a good time to do that. And today's Pokemon Go Fest day, so the guys are, the group is raiding all around town right now. It's been a while since I've come out, and I thought I'd try to catch up with them and do a couple of these Mewtwo raids in person today and knock out some Go Fest stuff. So that's what I'm doing. They're at the dog park downtown right now. It's not a great parking over there, but I might I'll go over there. Probably by the time I get there, they're done with that one, and then I'll just follow them to the next spot. And I'm in Ruby because there's no FSDing between raids, and everyone in town knows this is my car, so they'll know that it's me that's out there raiding with them. So for 2 reasons, I'm in Ruby. The guy in the Rivian over there, he's playing Pokemon too. There are 20 people in this raid. That's the max allowed. It's breakfast, lunch, brunch time. And since it's a Saturday, and you have time to actually sit there and enjoy it.
All right, look at this.
There you go.
Yum. Thank you, sweetheart.
You're welcome. My real camera is somewhere, wherever I left it.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. And for a little drive. I've already chased one deer off.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for him over here. I walked the house before I got in the truck and made sure I didn't see anybody along the side of the house over there. I circled the house. So we'll see. We're going to play Pokemon Go at a couple of stops, and we're going to go to Tractor Supply and buy some deer core. So we're just a smidge embarrassed. I'm going to say a police officer came through the intersection, and we were stopped at a red light, so it didn't really matter. And after the police officer went past and other cars came through the turn lane behind the police officer. We could tell it was a funeral procession. Yeah. We were in FSD and we didn't think too much of it. And the next thing we know, the light turned green and the Cybertruck pulled out into the funeral procession. Right. Which we would not have done out of politeness and respect and everything if we had realized what was going to happen or been driving ourselves. That's and right. We did not break out of FSD because at that point it was too late. We were already in the procession. It just sort of happened. Right. And we did file a bug report though. Yes. And took a snapshot of the dash cam. Sure. And we'll show you what happened. Really, we probably scared the guy in the left turn lane that they were coming through that we just look. We have failed twice today to make a turn in a timely fashion with a legitimate opening that almost any driver would have made. Right. And yet the cars were coming through the left turn lane and getting in front of us following the funeral procession. And the truck just moved out in front of the car instantly and never even hesitated about it. So you tell me. Right. Anyway, like I said, we're sorry that happened. We didn't do that on purpose, you know. Right. Just goes to show you should never assume when another driver does something you don't like that they intended to irritate you, right. Be rude. Things happen out there on the road and you got to have some grace about it, but we're sorry. Yeah, that was a real edge case there. I mean, that's not a thing because, as you said, we had the green light, but FSD heard the siren, saw the police officer. The police officer came up to us on the left side, going through the left turn lane, and continued through the intersection. But the procession was long enough that the light turned red, had turned red, and then it turned, as soon as it turned green, as Marianne just said, FSD immediately took off, but yet there was a car coming from the left who was still part of the procession. So as we said, we basically inserted ourselves into a funeral procession. Yeah, how is FSD ever going to know? Now, a couple of the cars had their flashers on. The car that we were following had its flashers on. But I don't know about the car behind them. And how would FSD ever know where the end of the funeral procession was? Right. I don't know. So like Don said, that's a pretty serious edge case there. Yeah, because I saw the cop and then the hearse. I mean, the hearse was the second car. So I knew immediately it was the funeral. But this is just human nature. I, as a human driver, knew, oh, that's a funeral. So I'm just going to sit here until all those cars go by. I didn't even think about, oh, the car's driving, so it's not gonna just sit here. So you could say, oh, well, I should have been proactive or something like that, but I didn't quite think about right. This was not we're shooting for 250 today and we don't want to break FSD, so we're going to insert ourselves into the funeral. That wasn't how it happened. Don and I aren't like that. Right. It just was like, oh God, the truck's going. Yes. You know, it was like we were just sitting there. I was kind of mesmerized watching the procession go by. Yeah. The police officer, what he did, where he went into the middle of the intersection with his, and this was a stealth police car, by the way. This was the black Fuquay, not one of the four cruisers, but an SUV now, where you can just barely see in the black paint the police insignia. Plenty of blue lights. But he had his blue lights and he had his siren going. Yep. But he stopped in the middle of the intersection, and now I understand that I was like, well, if he's in such a rush to get through, why is he stopping in the middle of the intersection? Well, he did that to make sure traffic was stopped in all directions so that everyone in the procession was safe to come through without getting hit. That's right. But I didn't understand that behavior at first. Right. I'm like, God, he's in a god-awful rush and he just stopped in the middle of the intersection for no reason. Yeah. Well, it was really weird. Well, it was just unexpected is what it was. Yeah, well, maybe it'll show on the video when the Cybertruck, when the light turned green, because we were the first in line. When the light turned green, the Cybertruck immediately left. And it thought there was a maniac in the left lane trying to cut in front of me. That's how the Cybertruck basically reacted to that car. I'm very confident to say it had no idea. The fact that all those other cars had went by and done that maneuver, 5, 6, 8 cars had went by,
while it was sitting there.
Didn't mean anything to it.
At a red light, by the way.
Yeah.
And these cars are in the left lane going straight in front of me. It never entered its algorithms that says, what the hell's going on here? It never even crossed. It's just waiting. I'm watching for my green light, and as soon as the light turns green, I'm taking off.
Right. Well, at that point, certainly should have been looking at the left side camera and the rear camera to understand if there's another car going to follow the same behavior as the car in front of it.
Yeah. So I guess the cars crossed more or less cutting in front of it across our path. I just would have hoped that would have tripped some kind of a little fuzzy logic that says there's something unusual here. Maybe I should take a breath before I just jump out into the line of traffic. Like you said, you started the whole conversation, it's been super hesitant now trying to make unprotected lefts. It's really hesitant, but it isn't hesitant on a green light. It's like, I'm going right now.
Yeah. I guess I ask for our American society, because I don't know what other countries do for their burial, cultural, remembrance things. I really don't know what they are or aren't doing. But do we really need to stop traffic at red lights and to me it was to me that behavior was just dangerous. I've certainly seen funeral processions before that had a lead car, not with a police officer though. All of them don't have police officers.
Well,
they just have I guess they just have the funeral people and all, but I guess I question if that's really necessary or not, because the celebration of life is the religious service and then graveside, and going through town, people don't know who that is.
That's right.
So I don't know, because it seemed like a lot of risk there to me. I'm playing the devil's advocate on the risk of that maneuver back there all the way, not even counting FSD. Just in general,
well, in today's world, yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah,
but I don't know. Back when I was growing up, I don't think that.
Sure.
Well, because most of the time the funeral thing is not moving fast, and we're in a city. In other words, this is not a interstate highway phenomenon. This is a city thing with traffic lights. In fact, it's the traffic lights that's the problem, because what happens is if you try to have a long queue of cars to go from the church to the gravesite, with traffic, you're going to go through traffic. It's just going to be a total jumbled mess, and so that's what it does. In a lot of places when I was a kid, I guess it just depends on how much money you want to spend. They had motorcycle cops. So what would happen is the motorcycle cops would zoom up ahead of the line of the hearse and all the other people, jump into the intersection, stop the traffic, and then after the traffic, was going through, kind of like what that cop did, then they would zoom up and they would catch up past the hearse again and be at the next traffic light. They would be like tag teaming it. Zooming up there.
Again, not the most safe traffic behavior ever.
Man, that's what you meant. You put those Harley.
Yeah, I get it. I get the thrill for the rider having permission to drive, like a real reason to drive like that. But
as a matter of fact, at Jack's funeral, they did that.
Okay.
In fact, I remember at the very end, because I was in the funeral procession. At the very end, the last place where we actually made a left-hand turn into the cemetery, the cop on the motorcycle stopped, got off his motorcycle, took his helmet off, put it over his heart, and saluted as the...
Well, that is a touching thing to witness as part of that, but yeah. Well, I know nobody cares what I think anyway, but to me, a bunch of people insisting to stay together and then going through red lights through town as part of a funeral procession seems not super safe in Fuquay in 2026. But
right, I'm just
No, you can disagree.
No,
it's fine.
I'm just saying is that I don't think safety has a whole lot to do with it. But
well,
you're
yeah,
right.
I'm sure safety has nothing to do with it. It has to do with paying our respects.
Well, it has to do with part of the human condition. I mean, we're humans, and we ought to. This is just understandable that, just to make the funeral procession duke it out with traffic, let the best man win. That's just generally not the way you would do those kind of things. This is closer. This is what started that. Every kid gets a participation trophy.
Okay,
so now you're on. Now you got me on that.
I didn't mean for it to go there, but I am just going to add one last thing.
Sure.
I think back in the day, the cemetery was often attached to the church. It was on the church property, and so you walked across from the church to the cemetery.
That's right.
And probably now, due to space, and not all churches have been established a long time and have the land for that, et cetera, that's probably slightly less commonplace than it was at one time. But at any point, we were startled by what FSD did in that instance, and now we've told you about it. And if you drive a Tesla and you use FSD,
watch out.
You should definitely be prepared to take over, or probably just take over if there's a funeral procession coming up behind you, because today, July the 11th, 2026, FSD, the latest release, it didn't handle it too well.
Right, but one more little piece on that. If we would not have been the lead car, the car in front of us would not have moved. FSD would not have moved, and we'd just sit there and never known this was a problem.
I am going to agree with that. There was a time where Jules in particular was trying, if the car in front didn't move in a timely manner, Jules would try to go around the car. That's another edge case too, is when do you give up as the autonomous car on the car in front of you moving out of your way? And when do you just wait it out? Because obviously there's the car in front of you knows something.
Right.
When is it a malfunction versus I'm stopped because I shouldn't move forward, or it's unsafe to move forward? I don't know. Jules tried to go around a lot of things. Yeah. At lights, where people were waiting to
school buses.
Right. I mean, Jules used to try to go around a lot of things. So I'm thinking you're right. We would have just sat there.
Right.
Today's FSD would have been pretty patient. Jules was and then eventually at some point would have moved. Right. But,
Well, that's what happens with the Waymos, right? They get deadlocked, right? They get in a situation where they absolutely cannot move.
Right. Well, some of this stuff that happens to Waymo isn't going to happen to Tesla. But every time all the Tesla people go out and criticize, the people that shouldn't be criticizing Waymo are the Tesla people. And the reason why is because you never know. It's like throwing a stone at a glass house. Yeah. You never know where you might have some sort of an outage that causes you to block. Yeah. Now, that one the other night was pretty serious. It was pretty serious what happened on July 4th. And so, as an aside, I'll come back to that. But anyway, I don't think we should be throwing stones.
I agree.
It could we can't even foresee all of the possible ways probably that there could be some, but then people behind could drive through chemicals and get incapacitated behind the wheel too. So to say that it's only autonomous cars, but yeah, that July 4th thing, my first thought was like, well, maybe we shouldn't have the cars on the road for events where fireworks are getting shot off and people are doing very non-people thing out like in the middle of the street or on their front porch, or people are acting crazy on July the 4th, and especially for the 250th.
Yeah.
Maybe there's no way to have trained for all of the behaviors going on that night. No training data could have fully prepared even a Tesla necessarily for all of the craziness that potentially, it's like kind of like sending a car in the middle of a city where there's a riot going on.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't do that, but I don't know. That was a little nuts. A little, even extreme for Waymo incidents. It was a little nuts the other night. spots are pretty wide, so we left it alone, and plus we got company.
Yeah. It nosed in, and we got 2 other.
Yeah, it didn't back in, which surprised Dawn. So this car's keeping itself nice and cool.
They got climate heat.
Well, we actually checked out Habitat Restore next to Tractor Supply, and now we're in Tractor Supply. Dawn didn't realize we were going to do the full 3-hour tour.
Yeah. I missed my nap.
He's having so much fun in Tractor Supply with me today. They have a shot clinic here.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's as many dogs as there are people.
That's right.
Yeah, Don's enjoying himself.
Puppy.
It's official.
Yeah, we are definitely using the Cybertruck for truck stuff. We're hauling seed corn.
I was going to say, you really are feeding every animal in Wake County.
Well, I already knew that. That's no new news there. The new news is we're actually using the Cybertruck for like truck stuff.
Yeah, it was very trucky here at Tractor Supply. Yep.
Felt right at home with all the other trucks.
Yep.
So my Legos didn't come in the mail today. The post office said they were supposed to be delivered. Delivered our mail. Didn't deliver my Legos. I'm going to work on this as best as I can. We know I'm waiting on some parts. Remember how, I think it was yesterday morning, I showed that these impatiens still were in good shape? Well, the deer came through at 6:30 this morning and ate them. Just walked right through here, and then he munched the top off of this fern a little bit, and he's just hanging out here eating my stuff for a while. Dawn and I are out here putting up more motion sensors. I think we have 7 in the yard now. They are rather effective during the hours we allow them to operate at us coming out and scaring the deer off. Sorry, I didn't mean to be pointing so low. I'm out of breath from walking up and down the hill a few times. Dawn's down here installing the last one at the bridge. So there's one there on that plant pot. There's one here, and this is, you know, well, it'll tell us anything that moves, but it's to catch the deer. That's the bird feeder there. And then Don's trying to set the, here, we won't get his backside. He's trying to set the sound. This one sounds like a bird. And anyway, there's one on both sides of the bridge. That's right. So all the zones have their own sound. Up here is a ching 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 ching, and over in the side yard it's a really happy doorbell sound.
I'm a mainframe programmer. This is not mainframe. I don't program these worth a damn.
Well, you helped me. You came up with bringing the Bowder out with us and carrying the receiver around and making it work.
Yeah. Well, I have to say that Marianne's Bowder worked great. And if we didn't have that, and the other thing you have to do is you can't move. Because the sound is set by whichever the last one, when it goes off, you can set the sound. So if it goes off,
you got to press the button.
You got to press the button. But if you go set off another one, and you press the button, it changes the sound on that one.
Yeah.
So whichever one's the last one, it caused it to go off. You get to set that sound on that one.
Yep. So this is the ching ching. Ching ching, you're gonna follow me this way to the garage so I realize now I can't make it sound right without you.
I can leave you the Valor.
No, I ain't have carried that heavy thing. Oh. Yeah, since I can't get them to go away, my best hope is to come out and scare them off as soon as I know they're out here, which doesn't help during the middle of the night, but will help other. You set that, well, I need to be near you so they can hear the sound, but you go set it off. Yeah, come this way. We're going to get this right here in a minute. Both of us will be thinking straight at the same time.
It's not my programming specialty.
Okay. I'm going to set it off.
Yeah. Keep going.
So I'll probably end up checking all the zones, but hopefully Happy Doorbell is here. Ching Ching is front yard, and the bird sound is the bridge, one side of the bridge or the other. And there's more of them out that way that do the happy little doorbell sound. There's the most of them are in the side yard. Okay. Let's walk up and down the hill a few more times. I love the hill.